All right, here we go. Getting back into the swing of things. Life has been busy. I have two small kids now. My daughter's about to be 1. My son's about to be 3 next month. A lot going on. I have a day off from work today. It's still morning time. The grass is still wet, so I'm going to take this time to just do a recording. Normally, I like to live stream, but I haven't streamed in so long. I had to reconfigure my streaming account, so I can't log into that yet. I have to wait 24 hours. Coffee still has not kicked in, but today I wanted to get this done because I want to get it off my desk and you know move on to other things. So best way to address that is just to knock it out, get it done, get it documented. So hopefully we can help somebody and go from there. So we're working on a JBL MA7100, yeah, 7100 HP. It's not their top of the line, but it's like their mid-range line. Class D HDMI input, 4K, 8K surround sound receiver. I like it a lot. I got it at a really good price used. It had some issues. I was able to fix them, but it ran into some software issues. So let's take a look at this thing. So here's our overhead. Pretty nice unit. Build quality, they're not using high quality caps. It's your common off-brand caps on the power supply. Nicely laid out. It works. It's fairly new. I'm not going to touch it. I'd like to see like some Nichicon or Rubicons in here, especially at the price point. These are like $1,300, somewhere around in that range. Um, it is what it is. I got a good deal on it. I was able to get it going, but the biggest problem I had was these are like smart units. So I was having software issues. There's a right here. There's a SAW module. It's like a Linux-based 4-core board that plugs into this big card, which handles the Ethernet and updating over the air and all that stuff. Um, First problem is this was corrupted. They must have taken or received an update. The update didn't process right, or lost power, and it kind of screwed up the update. Um, what I was able to do was um, this connection right here is a serial connection, and it talks directly to the SOM, which is great. I was able to connect this in and start looking over the serial, and this is just a 3.3 volt USB to serial converter. It has to be 3.3. It might work if you have a 5-volt adapter, but I would not use the transmit line in that case. Just use the receive. Just get a unit. They're cheap on Amazon. I don't know what model it is. It's just 3.3 volt. I can't remember if that's TTL or UART. I think it's UART. Um, but that allows me to see what's going on with that and talk to it like I have a screen plugged in. So um, what I was able to do is I was able to power this on, watch this thing boot up, see what it was saying, and I took logs of all that information. Eventually, I was able to find a link in their URL that actually led me to download an update file, a factory update file for this. Um, Put that on a USB drive, and I was trying to update, and I couldn't get it to update. But the problem was the unit would work, but after about 20, 30 minutes of use, the screen in the front would just start flashing installing update, and it would sit there for 10, 12 hours. I figured, maybe it needed some time to wait. That wasn't the case. So I took the cover off, hooked this back up, and waited for it to do that and watched. And what was happening is I was getting kernel errors. This runs like a version of Linux, like Yocto Linux. And I was getting kernel errors, and those errors were preventing the update procedure and normal operation of the unit. So I'm not a big Linux guy. I wish I was. I just don't, I can navigate through it and do the basics, but I punched into AI, some of the logs and some of the issues that I was having, and working, with that resource, I was able to get this thing running rock stable. Um, so we're going to get into that. So yeah, in order to do this, you're going to need, to make some sort of cable that plugs into this connector. It's like a JST pH, I think, or I just put some pins and heat shrunk them and just slipped them on so I get contact, plugged them in, and then connected them into the pins on the converter that goes to USB. So I'm going to run through these commands. It's going to be pretty brief and basic. I'm not going to dig through it. We'll look at the login screen, or the I'm sorry, the boot screen, and we'll go over to commands. So let me switch over to that screen right now. Right now the unit's currently powered off. Well, it was powered off. I'm just going to hard switch it off. So I am going to switch over to my screen so you guys can see what's going on here. All right, here we go. So this is, I'm using TerraTerm. It's a pretty good program for doing this kind of stuff. Right now we're off, so I'm going to boot it up. You should be able to see this thing come live as soon as I have it in green mode, so it keeps this on powered off until I actually hit the power button on the front. So we're going to fire it up, and you can see all this stuff spitting out of there. Hopefully it doesn't reveal my IP address, but right now, in its working state, it takes about 25 seconds to boot up fully. So it goes to a login. I know for a fact that that login is root, and there's no password. So there we go, 25.7 seconds, and we're fully booted up. Now this thing is ready to go. I don't really know what those errors are. I think that has something to do with me not using Wi-Fi. I generally don't like to keep this device connected to the internet because it's not secured. When I want to do an update, I'll plug it in for a little bit, let it do its thing, and then I disconnect it from Ethernet. I don't set up the Wi-Fi. So I'm going to try and interrupt the boot, and this is how what you need to do to get to that screen to perform the fix. So I'm going to power it back off, and oops, I did a quick boot. I double tapped. Here, I'm just going to do a hard power. I'm going to be in the terminal window with my keyboard and mouse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to power it on, and I'm just going to start mashing on the space bar, making sure that I have the terminal window active. So you see what happens is it disabled the booting, and it took me this command prompt. And what I was able to deduce by using AI was we eventually got to this, and I'm just going to drag it over here and leave it up on the screen. So the kernel booting arguments are on this line. What we added was this no SMP, and I didn't understand that or know what that was, but eventually working through the errors and the kernel panics that we're getting, AI helped me to understand that the SOM module is basically not optimized with the software to run on 4 cores. So adding this no SMP in here allows it to run off only 1 core. Boot count, if it's stuck in a position where it's getting kernel panics and it's airing out, the boot counter will go up. Boot fail also goes up. Now, setting boot fail to 1 will force it into like a recovery mode where it'll boot up, it'll pull an IP address from the Ethernet cord, and it'll allow you to go into a web browser and update the software. I could not get the software to update without, let's go back to me so you're not talking to a screen here. Actually, let's go to overhead. So, yes, so if you set the boot count, or I'm sorry, boot fail to 1, it'll go into recovery mode. And then you can connect in your Ethernet cable, and it will allow you to send the USB update to this module. it kept failing over and over and over and over again, and that's how I ended up with that no SMP needed to be added to the kernel message. After that, boot limit 99, that just sets how many cycles it can boot over and over and over until it goes into a failed state or an error state. Environment save, that saves those variables, and then run boot command. And after those commands were put in there and run, I was able to use the USB to do the update. I don't know if I should put the link in the description for the download of the file. It can be exposed, like I said, through the booting process and the recovery process using serial. I don't know if JBL is going to get mad at me. If somebody asks for it, I'll share the link. You can get the information. It's not like it's secret information. They expose it over the serial. I'm just not going to publicly post it, just because I don't want to receive any letters in the mail. But we'll go through that boot process again, and I'll run the boot command, and we can watch it boot. So let's go back to our screen here. We can take these off. Hopefully that was on there long enough for everybody to see it. You can't delete in a terminal window. It doesn't do anything. So we're going to type run boot command. And when we do that, it's going to go through the normal booting process. And again, it should take, 25 to 30 seconds. And it should fully boot up. But there's no errors, no NAND errors, no kernel panic errors. Everything is good. So, right now we're back at a functioning working mode. So I know this wasn't a really in-depth video. It's not a tutorial. I don't think that many people are going to need to do this. I just happened to get a broken receiver that had software corruption on it, and I wanted to fix it. So this was the way to fix it. And then as I fixed it, I found some more issues, so I improved it. JBL, Harman Kardon, if you're listening, just turn off the other 3 cores of the CPU. They're not needed. It doesn't do any processing. All it does is create headaches for, updating and running this unit efficiently. So if they don't fix it, the next software update, I'm going to manually have to add the no SMP command back in, just to prevent any of these, artificial reboots that I was seeing or future errors. I don't want to have to do that though. I just want to use it and enjoy it and get it off my bench. So it was a little bit of a journey, but I'm kind of 50-50 on the whole AI thing. I see the benefits of it, but I also see the terrifying aspects of it too. But it was able to help me. Like I said, I'm not a very strong in Linux. I don't understand all the ins and outs of all the different hardware configurations and what can be controlled and not controlled and turned on and off and all that. So saved me a ton of time, ton of reading, and it allowed me with just basically a couple simple commands to get this device fixed and back up to fully operational. So kudos to AI for that, I guess. But kind of short and sweet. Just wanted to share this. Hopefully it'll help somebody. I'm sure now that all the DIY repair guys are going to flood eBay and buy all these things, so I won't be able to flip them, but that's all right. I don't have time for it anyways. I hope to get back to doing some streaming soon. We're just going to have to play it by ear and see how it goes. I still have a lot of projects going on that aren't done. I'm rewiring my house. I'm getting my childhood computer back up and running. Little side things like that I can have fun and share with the kids are taking priority right now. Some of the bigger projects, like working on the house, that sucks up a ton of time, and working full time, I'm just exhausted too. Like, I just don't have it in me to do the streams. But like I said, I need to get my shelf cleared off. I need some space. So hopefully I can start doing that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause on the repair model for right now. I know a lot of you guys have repairs that you need done. Um, I hear you. I've seen your emails. I might not have answered your emails. Apologies for that. But um, I have to get through this stash on my shelf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the repairs. I'm going to live stream the repairs. And then I'm going to throw these amps up on eBay. I'm going to put the price of the repaired amp as the same price that I would charge for a repair. So if you have a broken amp and you need one of them, this will be your shot to do it. I'll put links in each video of the repair to the unit that was repaired. So if you need that specific amp, it'll be available. Until we get through the massive pile of amplifiers that I have, that's how I'm going to have to do things for the time being, just so I can get caught up and kind of unburied. I can't just keep bringing more and more and more stuff in and not getting anything out. So that's where we stand right now. But like I said, hope this was like a quick little informational video. Not really for the faint of heart, but if you have a little bit of technical know-how, you can make a wire and type in some commands. You could potentially fix or improve your JBL system, and this should work on any of the MA series units. I don't think there's any that it don't. The software packages are universal for all of them. So let me know in the comments if this helped you out. I'm sure this is not going to be a very common issue. These units are still fairly new. It was just something that I found and I wanted to share before I put it back together and put it back in my on my shelf so I could start using it again. So appreciate you taking the time to tune in, like, subscribe, and I will be around as I can. Appreciate it. Thanks.